So Patricia Smith is the author of 10 books of poetry, including The Intention of Thunder, New and Selected Poems, Scriber 2025. Finalist for the 2025 National Poetry Book Award.
I won.
I know. I was building up to that. But that's why I own your flowers. Like, I won. Hello. It was hard, exactly. National Book of Poetry, Unshuttered, Northwestern 2023, Incendiary Art, Northwestern 2017, winner of the Kingsley Tufts Award, the LA Times Book Prize, and the NAACP Image Award, and the finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, and the finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. Can I say, and the finalist for the Pulitzer Prize? Come on. Shoulda Been Jimi Savannah, Coffee House Press 2012, winner of the Lenore Marshall Prize from the Academy of American Poets, and Blood Dazzler, Coffee House Press 2008. She got flowers. A National Book Award finalist, her work has been published widely, including the Best American Poetry and Best American Essays. Her short story, When They Are Done With Us, won the Robert Fish Award from the Mystery Writers of America and was featured in the Best American Miniseries. Smith is a 2024 inductee into the Chicago Literary Hall of Fame. Okay. Can we get an applause for that? As well as a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, a chancellor in the Academy of American Poets at Guggenheim Fellow, a National Endowment for the Arts grant recipient. I need another person up here to continue to read this for me. Like, she's got details. The National Pulitzer Prize, former fellow of the Civitella Reunion Yada. Y'all can read that in her bio. And McDowell, and a 4-time individual champion of the National Poetry Slam, the most successful poet in competition history. She is a professor at the Lewis Center for Arts at Princeton University, as well as a former distinguished professor for the city of New York. Currently, she's at work on her first novel and a collection of short stories, and 225 National Book Award. Yay! Y'all give it up for the one and the only Patricia Smith.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Where's my band? Where's my band? I love it. Oh. You know when music enters you and it just stays there? And you gotta do something with this. So I'm kidnapping all of them later. Thank you so much for this. Thank you, San Jose. It's wonderful. Wonderful to be here. I don't know why it's taking me this long. I shall return whenever I'm called. All right. So, I have a couple of poems that I wasn't going to do tonight that I'm going to do because of the band, but I want to do this one first. I used to open all of my readings with this same poem for years and years, couldn't figure out why, and then I said, I know, it's because it reminds me of the power that language has to move you from one place in your head to a safer place. So, a while ago, one of my first trips as a poet, I was invited to come out to a school in Miami because the teacher said I can't afford to bring anybody else out there, so I would love for you to see my kids. I said, okay, don't pay me anything, I'll come out. Group of 6th graders. I came in bounding in saying I'm going to teach you poetry, but the area that we're in had a really high incidence of drug use. So a lot of the kids had lost parents and siblings and friends to AIDS and drug abuse. And so there's a little girl there, her name was Nicole, and she said, I want you to teach me to write a poem about my mother. And her mother had just died the week before. So this is for the 6th grade class at Lily Sammons Elementary School in Dade County, Miami, which they made me promise to say every time I did a poem. I am astonished at their mouthful names. Lacanicia, Chevalane, DeLeo, Fumaleo. Their ragged rebellions and lip gloss pouts and all those pants drooped as drapery. I rejoice when they kissed my face, whisper wet and urgent in my ear, make me their obsession because I have brought them poetry. They shout me raw, bruise my wrist with their pulling, and brashly claim me as mama, as...
They're excited.
Okay. They shout me raw, bruise my wrist with their pulling, and brashly claim me as mama, as they cradle my little head in their laps, waiting for new words to grow in my mouth. You. Angry, jubilant, weeping poets, we are all saviors, reluctant hosannas in the limelight, but you knew that, didn't you? So let us bless this 6th grade class. 40 cracking voices, 40 nappy heads, and all of them raise their hands when I ask. They have all seen the Reaper, grim in his heavy robe, pushing the button for the Debt Project elevator, begging for a break at the corner pawn shop, cackling wildly in the back pew of the Baptist church. I asked the death question, and 40 fist punched the air. Me! Me! In O'Neill, matchstick crack child watched his mother's body become a claw. And 9-year-old Tico Jefferson, barely big enough to lift the gun, fired a bullet into his own throat when Mama bended his back with a lead pipe. Tamika cried into a sofa pillow when Daddy blasted Mama into the north wall of their cluttered one-room apartment. Danya's cousin, gone in the drive-by, dark window, click, 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 gone, says Danya, her tiny finger a barrel, the thumb a hammer. I am astonished at their losses. And yet when I read a poem about my own hard-eyed teenager, Jeffrey asks, is he dead yet? Cannot be comprehended. My 18-year-old still pushing and pulling his own breath. And 40 faces pity me, knowing that I will soon be as they are, numb to our bloodied histories, favoring the Reaper with a thumbs up and a wink, hearing the question shouting, me! Me, Miss Smith, I know somebody dead. Can poetry hurt us? They ask me, before crawling into my words to sleep. I love you, Nicole says. Nicole wearing my face, pimples peppering her nose, and she is as black as angels are. Nicole's braids kiss with match flame to seal them. And can you teach me to write a poem about my mama, Miss Smith? I mean, you write about your daddy, and he's dead. Can you teach me to remember my mama? A teacher tells me this is the first time Nicole has admitted that her mother is gone. Murdered by slim silver needles and a stranger rifling through her blood, the virus pushing her skeleton through for Nicole to see. And now this child with rusty knees and mismatched shoes sees poetry as her scream and asks me for the words to build her mother again, replacing the voice, stitching on the lost flesh. So poets, as we take the stage, as we flirt and sin and rejoice behind microphones, remember Nicole. She knows that we are here now, and she is an empty vessel waiting to be filled. And she is waiting. And she is waiting. And she waits. Because I decided to read these poems, Don't you hate when people do this? Oh, okay. Maybe that. I was going to read a longer one for the band, but this is another one. This is for Dizzy Gillespie. Spinning till you get dizzy. It was never control we were after. Jazz, by ragged definition, pump-started its own heart, sensed the possibilities of chaos long before it became brown baby lullaby, the ripples that pulse on the surface of whiskey. Jazz demanded the unleashing of so many souls, turned order into impetuous melody, chords which blew spit at their captors, and there was nowhere to run and even fewer places to hide. What gave birth to jazz? What moist, constricted passage it struggled from? Who held it aloft, slapped that newborn ass, and sparked the glorious squealing? Doesn't matter. What matters is fluid lines threading into scat, and us owning that sweetness. What matters is cigarette-thin men scowling at their reflections in the bar top. What matters is sugar browns hitching up homemade skirts and pounding holes into the dance floor. Out past curfew and tired of asking the time. What matters is the bee in the bonnet of bebop, cursive swirling from the mouth of a sax, moans trapped in cool column of clarinet, the blues twisting a guitar's string throat, and mojo rising up from the brown battered skin of drums. There is growling in all of this, a warning to stop and shout hallelujah from wherever you are, a warning to shout praise for all that is cool and raunchy, a warning to be thankful for complication. And let somebody else answer when the disbelieving ask, who is Jazz's mama? What ripe woman body curved and struggled and pushed that hard-headed boy into the light? And somewhere, the bell of a horn curved up. Because it was not about control. It was never about polished brass eking out strange notes for maybe brown babies in sequins and hardback chairs. Jazz was never capture or compliance. It was all about the possibilities of chaos, and he never bothered straightening the bell on that horn, because why shouldn't heaven get the gospel too? What he blew upset us, soured our gentle stomachs. What did we need with music that thrived in blue light? Music with rumbling in his feet. We begged it to go away, tried to ban it on the airways, but as usual, the heat in our hips spoke otherwise. Couldn't do, wouldn't do, didn't know how to do without it. Those cocky, seamless blasts that rock us to rolling, because it was never about control. It was never about control. It was about the bell of a horn curved up. Not Jazz's mama, but her son, all rough chin and sharp skin, a black beret on cool kinks, never a note to apologize for, and such outrageous cheeks. And the other one I want to read for you, Dan. Thank you. And the other one that I want to read for the band, here we go. The song that you did for your father almost took me out. Almost took me out. I'm a daddy's girl, only child. My father was killed in a robbery when I was 21. So, and what I like to tell people is when you first want to write a poem about someone you've lost, you want this big, huge, encompassing poem where you want everyone to know the hollow that they've left in your life, and you want them to know how funny your father was and everything. And it's hard to do because somewhere in the poem I would have to say he was gone. And if I said that out loud, that meant there was no chance of magic happening. So it took me a long time. I wrote poems about how funny my dad was. I wrote poems about my dad trying to teach me how to drink. I wrote all these things, and I couldn't say he was dead. So the first time I was able to say it, I realized that what I was trying to do was give the death the power. And I should write about something that he always did that I enjoyed doing with him and make the death just a part of that you can fold into the rest of who he was. So, the recipe for hot water cornbread is simple. Cornmeal, hot water. Mix till sluggish, then dollop in a sizzling skillet. When you smell the burning begin, flip it. When you smell the burning begin again, dump it onto a plate. You've got to wait for the burning and get it just right. Before the bread cools down, smear it with sweet salted butter and smash it with your fingers. Crumble it up in a bowl of collard greens or buttermilk. Forget that I'm telling you it's the first thing I ever cooked, that my daddy was laughing and breathing and no bullet in his head when he taught me. Mix it till it looks like quicksand, he'd say, till it moves like a slow song sounds. We'd sit there in the kitchen, licking our fingers and laughing at my mother, who was probably scrubbing something with bleach or watching Bonanza or thinking how stupid it was to be burning that nasty old bread in that cast iron skillet. When I told her that I'd made my first ever pan of hot water cornbread and that my daddy had branded it glorious, she sniffed and kept mopping the floor over and over in the same space. So here's how you do it. You take out a bowl, like the one we had with blue flowers and only one crack. You put the cornmeal in it. Then you turn on the hot water and you let it run while you tell the secret about the boy who kissed your cheek after school, or about how you really want to be a reporter instead of a teacher or a nurse like Mama said. And the water keeps running while Daddy says you will be a wonderful writer and you will be famous someday. And when you get famous, if I wrote you a letter and sent you some money, would you write about me? And he is laughing and breathing and no bullet in his head. So you let the water run into this mix until it moves like mud moves at the bottom of a river, which is another thing Daddy said. And even though I'd never even seen a river, I knew exactly what he meant. Then you turn the fire way up under the skillet and you pour in this mix that moves like mud moves at the bottom of a river, like quicksand, like a slow song sounds. That stuff pops something awful when it first hits that blazing skillet, and sometimes Daddy and I would dance to those angry pop sounds. He let me rest my feet on top of his while we waltzed around the kitchen, and my mother huffed and puffed on the other side of the door. When you are famous, Daddy asked me, will you write about dancing in the kitchen with your father? I say everything I write will be about you. Then you will be famous too. And we dip and swirl and spin, but then he stops and sniffs the air. The thing you have to remember about hot water cornbread is to wait for the burning so you know when to flip it. And then again so you know when it's crusty and done. Then eat it the way we did, with our fingers, our feet still tingling from dancing. But remember that sometimes the burning takes such a long time. And in that time, sometimes, poems are born. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so I did loud and clear raise my hand when they said, is there somebody from, somebody 70? It's the first time I've done that. It's funny that putting this book together and walking back into all those old books and reliving those moments, the ones you thought that you had gotten on the other side of, but not really. When I finished, I said, I'm 70 fucking years. I've done all this, so hey, this poem's called 70.
All right.
Well, first, it seems immeasurably unjust that no one clues you to this bombshell. You will lose your pubic hair. Laugh now. No one brought up this grave development, the swift debut of silver slowly turned his soulless gray, then just an anarchy of wire, till one by one your glistening strands betray you, disengage and drift. Behold and lo, your bald and undreamt ways. My perfume kink and curl, dense lace embellishing the door to everything, no longer shines its light for episodic visitors. I own a home, not quite abandoned, simply stripped, the fireplace still ablaze within its walls. This is a series of sonnets, so there'll be a little pause. I'm shamed by how much satisfaction I experience when I scan random crowds and whisper, everyone I see will die. The difference now is that I'm well aware that I'm included. If I shut my eyes to sleep, to hush this drowsy body down because the world is swirling, when I wake I'm just a little farther underground. And yes, I'm terrified, and so are you. Someone said you die and just relive the life you've lost, again, again, and again, with all its woe and wounds. That's hell. I think I'd rather ceaselessly replay that breathing just before the end of breath. I mourn the many poems that I failed to write, and then those poems that I failed. The poems I assumed would shove a life back into life, unlatch a cage, or turn 1,000 thirsty bullets back around. Revive a fallen daddy, shrink a war, unreeling lines I thought could heal a thing, slam shut a thing, reverse a thing, or teach an Annie Pearl to love her reckless child. I grieved the lawless verses that fought back and silenced me because I lacked the spine required to know the tale they told was mine. I trusted myself blind. I really thought the words would grow to gospel in my hands. And back to death again. It hovers, smirks, and rides that vile McRib right to my mouth and down. It's eyeing me. Who'll greet me at the gates? A God? No God? I've seen the hope. Resuscitated woofs and fluffies, kin now tumorless and gleeful, those who raised you, younger than they ever were, all hauling ass through heaven toward you. My daddy with his glinting golden mouth, and Brady Bear, my burner, Ron the mutt, and yes, my mother, maybe with a heart that works. This Hallmark paradise does what a blindfold does. You crave a light that isn't there until it is. It's not. But what about the rampant blaze that scars that other place? Incendiary claws that fight to pull you down. Most poets swear they've been to hell, prefer the place because there's no gap left for silence. There's no time to muse, regret, revise, or wonder what you've done or haven't, just the bellowing of flames that shift your skin. The baying of Beelzebub begins and keeps beginning, but I suspect this too is trickery. A candy dangled, daring poets near. We don't mind fire if there's a tail attached. But what of me, whose greatest fear is dirt and stillness? What if now is what there is? For what must be the 1,000th time I watched the shutter-hipped industrious machine that is Beyonce's body, and it's like I'm on another planet. When you're 70, it's best to file that under kiss my old decrepit ass and go about your business. So what's life like? Let's see. I move, a sound comes out. A yowl, a groan, a pained, unwinding hiss. Or if it's just my knee again, a scream that freaks the birds outside. My neck is prone to locking and my eyes can only work behind a nerdy chunk of thick prescription glass. And oops, it's time to wind the sonnet down, but there is so much left to gripe about, so let's proceed. I stare at my reflection and I see my melody is waning. No surprise, but only blues take root and hold. I spot inside myself the girl who never was less than a dance, who loved her daddy like a god. I wallow in my history because there's just so goddamn much of it. And then I wonder if I've done enough, or anything. I question me until I have to sit and catch my breath. Oh, hallelujah, all this old. It's what I've done. I wrote, I loved, I broke apart. I write, I love, I break apart.